Okay, so today we're going to cook ramen. Alright, so here are the ingredients. So we're going to use 1 egg, this frozen steamed dumplings that someone bought and didn't want to use, so now I have access to them. This Lee Chem, right? It's supposed to be like a Spam knockoff because Spam itself in South Korea is very expensive. And this is tubu or tofu. You see that little spatula? It just means it's made for, this is particularly made for, what is it? Or tofu right here, for the frying pan. Like you get to fry it with like egg or flour to make like, you know, fried stuff. And this is the ramen we'll be using, sunanmat, which means mild, right? By this company, you know, sponsor me. So it's really great. The utensils will have some spoon, chopsticks, a knife to cut up the tofu and the meat, and you know, you want to just have your pan and boil water in here. So first step you want to do, right? The first step is to boil, and this is the gas range in Korea. So this is how you know if it's straight up that the gas is on. And then you have to listen for the sound. Like that. And you want to hold it for a little bit because sometimes the fire doesn't work. So now, while that's happening, we're going to open the packets up and get the meat and the tofu ready, okay? Oh, this isn't as pretty as I thought it'd be. But here's the ramen, and beneath it are the, good lord, the packets. This has all the the veggies, right? And this has your salt, broth, and MSG, right? And we're going to repeat. This time we'll do it a little prettier because they actually mark it here, the part where you can just clean open, and then you can get the packets easily. And now you can cut down. Open our thing, and look, they come like this so that, you know, it's preserved for a long time. Open that bad boy up, and the Spam knockoff. Good times. Alright. The best way to get Spam out is just, you want to loosen the edges and just knock. Actually, we'll cut that part out. Hold on. Hold on. Whoa. Oh, well, it's coming out. So, there it is. Like that. Very easy. One motion. Not very hard to do. And then, let's do a close-up shot. So we cut it like this. Right, one time this way. Boom. How beautiful is that? It's all shiny and oily, just the way God intended Spam to be. And bam, boom. Then we're going to cut it up into bite-sized pieces so we can put it into our ramen. Okay, now that we've got that ready, remember Spam is already pre-cooked meat, so you don't really have to cook it up, but that's kind of nasty if you don't. You know, always you want to, hold on, the water's boiling. We're going to decrease the heat for now because we're not finished prepping everything else. Next thing is the tofu. There's a lot of water, so you want to open it up, or like all the water just oozes out there. Yep. And afterwards, one cut and another cut to help open up the whole package. At least this is what I do. And bam, you got a beautiful piece of tofu. We're not going to use the whole thing because it's a lot of tofu. And I like to eat tofu and rice on its own with eggs. So what we'll do is cut it once like that. And cut it like this. And the really cool thing about this tofu is it's really thick and it's very like, it's easy to cut up. The other type of tofu is for stews and they're very soft and they break up very easily. So I prefer this for cooking with ramen. And we'll put in this near the end. So now the water is boiling. We'll raise the heat a little bit. And what we're going to put in first are the preservatives, or the dried leaves and stuff. They have like a bunch of leaves and They used to put mushrooms, and I think they changed it because the mushrooms for this tasted like junk. So anyway, you want to get that started first so it gets all the moisture and all the water. And afterwards, with this, what I do personally, and this is all depending on your own personal taste, I put the ramen in right away so that it can soak up all that goodness. Boom. And so if you watch YouTube, you probably have seen Simon and Martina, and where Martina, they're called the Eat Your Kimchi crew, and they probably made ramen. And theirs is like the fancy way to do it, and they put a lot of fancy stuff in theirs because I guess they're fancy and they have high income. But when you're a poor man, this is what you do. And so you have your ramen here, and obviously, if you want to make your things cook faster, you gotta raise the heat. That's how, you know, simple math, guys. Simple math. So then, once you wait on that, and you can see all the vegetables are now expanding because they gained all that water in there. Boom. Very simple. And once the water starts boiling, it's just easy, right? And once it gets to this level, right, once your ramen looks like this, then you add the packets of flavors. Boom. And like what I know, some people, they just kind of like put it a little bit at a time and mix it in, but I think that's barbaric. So we'll just put everything in at once and then we'll mix. Like in the end, it's all the same if you mix it right. And here we go. So now we got our mixture going. I made a little bit of a mess, but it's okay because we clean after, right? That's the point of cooking, is to clean. Granted, I don't even know if you could call making ramen cooking, to be fair, but you know, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I make the best ramen in the world. Now then. So now once the ramen looks like this, you know, looks like this, okay? What we do is we take our egg. The reason being is we want this egg to cook, right? So we hit it once with our spoon, and voila. We hit it once with our spoon, right? We'll edit that part. So, and then boom, the egg comes out beautifully. You know, some people who are like professional chefs, they'll do the like one-hand stuff, but you don't need to. And if you want to make the the ramen look like the packaging, you want to save the yolk, but we're not doing that. That's too fancy, right? So what we're going to do is we want the yolk to mix in with the broth. So we're going to just stab it once and just let the yolk mix in. It gives the entire broth a thicker and, in my opinion, a richer flavor. And you can see how the boiling's kind of calming down a little bit because the egg's cold and it's all mixing in. And so once you got this going, and you see the color of the broth changing to this orangish color after the yolk mixed in, that's how you know it's ready for the next part, which is putting a ton of Spam in there. And I think I put too much Spam in here, guys. So we're just gonna use half for what I think is half. We'll save the other half for food or something. And for tofu, you can use your fingers if you're a savage, but if you're cultured, bam, this way you get 2 pieces at a time. Beautiful. Boom. 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 And by the way, this tofu was on sale at our local market, 59 cents. So it was really nice. And that's how much tofu I'll want with this. And we'll save the rest for later. And then we're gonna add this frozen dumplings in, right? We'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that's it. 7, because 7 is a lucky number. Alright. You can cut. You can cut. So the cool thing is these little silicone things, the ones that they say that you shouldn't eat, if you put it with your whatever, right, it kills mold wouldn't grow necessarily, at least for a longer period of time. So that's how you preserve things for a little bit longer, guys. Alright, you can cut that now. Are you recording again? Mm-hmm. So okay, well, as you can see, the dumplings are now gaining the moisture, right? Because these are steamed dumplings, they're supposed to be in water. And the Spam is nicely infusing its flavors to the broth. The tofu is just soaking up all the flavors, so it'll be delicious. Right, and you see how like the water is going down and the noodles are becoming thick. This is how I like to cook my ramen. Some people don't like this, but you know, I recommend trying it once before you judge. I think it's delicious. And you can always add other things like vegetables. A classic for Korean people is kimchi, and it does add like a layer of flavor. You can even add a slice of processed cheese. It has to be processed cheese. And finally, my favorite part is taking this ramen and pouring it here without making a mess. Now, boom, you want to start slowly so not everything just chunks over. Get some of that water in there. And then boom, 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 boom. And all that little pieces that are stuck, you just gotta help them because they're a little shy. And boom, that's how you get all that beautiful gunk out. And we'll just wash this for later. Actually, smart thing to do is put a little bit of soap and let it sit in some water. You always gotta clean when you cook. This way you don't create like a giant pile of dishes. And you can just leave it here because the apartment we have is very small cooking space. And I'll just clean the knife right now. And now I'm gonna move it to the other side. Be kind of strange. Alright. So now we turn off that light to save some power, you know. It's important to save electricity. Even though electricity is really cheap in Korea, please watch your step. Alright. So now watch as I try to set this as the prettiest as I can do, at least. Because I'm not a professional chef, guys. I'm not a professional chef. But if I open my own ramen store... I'm not a model.
The camera just turned on by itself.
Okay. And voila.
Let me get this nasty juice out of here.
And boom. Doesn't that look like a big pile of mess? Just like how ramen should be. Spam, tofu, dumplings. Yum. Now I'm gonna try some. Alright, so here's the best part. So what you want to do is when you eat this, right, you want to get just a little bit of the tofu, right, because initially it's really hot. A little bit of the Spam, and this is why we cut it so tiny. We'll edit that part out too. We'll get a little bit of the Spam, and then a little bit, just a tiny bit of ramen, right, not that much. And boom, mix it all in together to get all that flavor. Now, if you're asking, is this good for you? Probably not. But, you know, and maybe if I'm not feeling lazy, I'll put the calorie count. That way you can know how much I'm eating here. But, So it's really yummy. Well, I'm gonna finish this up, so I'll see you guys next time on cooking like a college student. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.